Thank you so much for joining me on the way forward. I'm Eddie Francis, and joining me is a president that I have been waiting to speak to, especially since my parents are Xavierites. My dad graduated from Xavier. My mom got her master's in Xavier. And Dr. Verret, I don't even want to get into how many cousins that graduated from Xavier. So definitely lots of Xavier in my family. And so it is very much a pleasure to talk to you. And so how's everything going up there on One Drexel Drive?
We're doing very well, but we're also extremely busy. We have a lot of we have a lot of the cooking right now. But I can tell you, we're accomplishing many things, and the best we do is when we graduate 500-600 students and send them out. We just did that
Yes.
only a month ago.
Yes, yes. And so let's talk about, first of all, Xavier and its value to Southeast Louisiana. It's a university that has many distinctions, not the least of which would be the top producer of Black doctors in the country. Of course, we know about Xavier's history as the only Catholic HBCU in the Western Hemisphere. But in your words, how would you describe Xavier's impact on Southeast Louisiana?
Well, we educate talent so that the students graduate to go and be of service, and they've been service to Louisiana in so many ways, in the political spheres, in the economic sphere, clearly in health in this situation. Xavier has the oldest school of pharmacy in Louisiana, so that everywhere you go, you meet a Xavier pharmacist. So we were here caring for people during the pandemic, before the pandemic, and you continue to do so. We've just doubled the number of physician assistants graduating in the state of Louisiana just by graduating students from our class, our PA program. So that is very important for Xavier. What we do in K through 12 space, our summer programs, our SOAR and STARS program, where we have students coming in. Some of those kids come to Xavier after they finish. These are K through 12 students who come for the summers. Some continue at Xavier. Many of them go on to college elsewhere, but that's part of what I call our external mission. That's success. They go to college, they do things, and they're coming in and nourishing and keeping Louisiana going. That shaping of even the history and legacy of history of Louisiana, of how we are a voice that helps us be forthright about where we came from, where we're going, and why we have to work together. I think Xavier has been an instrument of that. We are, to use a metaphor that is very New Orleans, we are the neutral ground. We help truthful, trusted facts. We bring people together. We've been doing that for a very long time. And I can tell you, Norman Francis, that's what he was doing before.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, there is something kind of big coming. I don't know if people have heard about this, but the Xavier Ochsner College of Medicine. And so that is a huge deal that I personally am pretty excited about, to see yet another medical school at an HBCU. So what can you tell us about the status of the preparations to launch the medical school?
Well, I'd say I would even reframe that. The medical school is not being launched. Medical school has been launched.
Okay.
It has not happened yet. The first class has not arrived yet.
Got
We have the founding dean, Leonardo Swan, who's also an Ochsner as well, who's a pulmonary specialist, is the founding dean of Xavier. We have a board. We have the board that directs the Ochsner board between the two institutions, where Xavier and Ochsner appoint people to that board. We have worked on the accreditation documents. We already have cleared through the SACS, the regional accreditor, to get substantive change to approve the medical program. Now we have to get accreditation through the liaison on medical education for allopathic medicine. That document is going out already. We're already recruiting some of the curriculums and staff assistant deans. So much of the work is being done. Plus, there's a building. If you're driving down Poitras Avenue, passing that little building next door to Superdome, there's a sign for the Xavier College of Medicine, where that building in the Benson Towers, that space is being renovated right now to actually receive our students when they come in the next few years. So we are very much engaged in that. And understanding, given that, as you mentioned, Xavier has a history of graduating great medical talent, students who go on to become physicians. We've done more than many other schools, much larger than us. We've led the country in that space. Now we are really engaging in actually building on the need for physicians, not only in Louisiana, but nationwide, because there'll be a shortage. but also representation, which actually, so that the clinic and the laboratories that do research for biomedical research contain people like my students, because that is how we create trust, but it's also how we are engaged in not just providing care, but also asking the important questions that are important in actually innovating and providing care, not just for one group, but for all the American people.
I want to stick on that point a little bit about representation, because I think that's what a lot of folks tend to miss in the work that Xavier does. And I can speak for myself as someone who goes to the doctor. And I want to see a doctor who looks like me, who understands what's going on, and who understand my questions a lot of times. So, what are some of the things that you are proud of as you look at students who matriculate and then they go on to med school or they go on to pharmacy school? What are the things that you are proud of as far as the representation that Xavier is able to help, I guess, enliven around the country and around the world, actually?
And I would say what they've done, what we do is that we educate students who become part of the clinics, who are part of delivering care, and they are part of the group. Because I think representation for us is larger than basically even having a doctor who looks like me, or a nurse who looks like me, but that there are nurses and doctors in the clinics who look like me, so that when they're thinking about the larger problem, that factors in.
Yeah.
So that one of the important parts is now we educate students to become great doctors, pharmacists, other healthcare providers, but also we are also educating the leaders who are also working in the insurance companies, in the hospitals, who are leaders in building the system so that the system is equitable, because that equitable system is really being true to our mission. When we talk about contribute to a more just and humane society, that's the work. We're sending them to do that work. And they do that work whether they are in the clinics as doctors or in the courtrooms as lawyers or as teachers elsewhere of being of service. That representation is, they are there to speak for you and me when we're not in the room.
Yeah. 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 Absolutely. Now, Xavier just received a really, really cool status, a Carnegie status, as a research college or university for the everyday Louisianan. Why is that important?
No, first of all, understand think about what our students are learning in college. They're learning to do biology. They're learning chemistry. They're learning history. They're learning social sciences. That learning, and it's not something that is being done to me. It's something that I'm engaged in. Part of that learning also is not just to actually learn the theory, the rules, the legacy of a discipline, but it's also how to do biology, how to do history, how to do chemistry. And research means that practicing it, the same way that any musician that I'm educating, I want that musician to perform and to compose, not just to be able to listen to music. Because it's about doing music. So that engagement in research is an important part of the education of our students, which is why when young people leave here, Xavier, and go off to grad school or elsewhere, they're the equal of anyone else because they've been junior colleagues here, they've been engaging in that creation. That's important, so that they are apprentice with our faculty, standing right next to us and learning to do what they need to do well. So that when they're sent off, they say, now it's your turn to go teach somebody else. So research is important for us. That the other part of research is that research is about using the ingenuity of our faculty and our staff and our students as well to solve problems of the day. Whether the problems are, I would say, how we engage in a new energy economy that's sustainable. That's research. For example, how do we build societies where that energy distribution is equitable? That's research. That's thinking hard about a problem that is not even here yet, but that we have to think about. How do we address equitable health? That research is important. Research is important. The other part is that if you think about their problems in Louisiana, that Louisiana needs to have research activities going on in the states to address its needs. Whether it's Xavier, whether it's Tulane or LSU, we're all engaged in addressing the needs of this region. That engagement is important. That Xavier plays a role. I would add one other thing. There are several states that are considered by the federal government called EPSCoR states because they don't have the same amount of per capita federal funding for research. The
Mm.
idea of engaging in research is also that will bring economic power and economic activity within the state of Louisiana that hires people, that gets people going to restaurants, that also builds our economy. So our research enterprise, the way it is, let's say in a city like where research carries the day, like Boston, for example,
Hmm.
uh, you want research, that's a significant part of our economy. And you have universities here collectively. If you think about our economy, we have an economy that's logistics, the port is very important to us. Hospitality is an important economic engine. If you think collectively, these universities in New Orleans, right? Collectively,
Hmm.
they are an important part of our economy as well. We bring people who spend money, who rent houses. That creates economic activity within the city. So that we are part of building Louisiana in many ways. And research is an important part of it because we're bringing dollars that are put to use in the state.
You're listening to The Way Forward. I'm Eddie Francis, and I'm talking to Dr. Reynold Verret. He is the president of Xavier University of Louisiana. And we are doing the Advancing Southeast Louisiana series, and we're talking about the impact that Xavier has on Southeast Louisiana. And again, I got to go back to alumni here because you can't get away from Xavier alumni. That's what doggone sure. I know I can't because obviously they're in my family and they're on both sides of my family, very prominent. Whether it's cousins, and of course I'm from New Orleans, so I have lots of friends who graduated from Xavier. But I'm interested in what you think when you think about Xavier's alumni. How would you describe the contributions of Xavierites to Southeast Louisiana?
Well, they are creative thinkers. They can think. They're able to contribute about on difficult problems where uh, the answers are not black and white. They're able to actually shape solutions out where solutions don't occur yet, whether in the political space or whether it's in the other spaces that are important to our city, whether it's education, health as well. They've been there. That ability to think deeply about complicated things is what the Xavier alumni have been doing. Uh, I use a word that I think has a term of endearment. Xavier is a geek school. These are young people who can think deeply about complicated stuff and help to think about solutions. And part of that comes in that they've intuited this ethic of being of service.
Hmm.
That nothing that I'm learning here is going to be useful, is going to have any meaning until I take it outside and put it to the use of somebody else to serve somebody else. That notion of one of the problems. When I think of our students who just got Truman scholarships because of what they were writing, but they were writing about the problems of the day. And so, what we're educating students as we had before is to be of service of Louisiana today. And likewise, the students who are educating now be of service to us in situations that you and I don't even imagine yet.
Yeah, yeah.
But they'll be ready. But they'll be ready.
So I want to congratulate you on two things. So first of all, I actually did the story about the two students who won the Truman scholarships. But the other thing, I want to congratulate you, President Verret, on owning the geek identity at an HBCU because nobody else wants to do it. No, everybody is afraid of it. And
I'm
and I
encouraged
do
by your
think
pride.
but I do think that that is probably one of the most endearing things about our HBCUs. Like these are the places where the geeky Black students can feel very safe.
And you see them wherever you go. That's the
Yes.
best thing you meet when you go to our schools.
Yes, yes. So I would thank you so much for owning it. I appreciate you. I definitely appreciate you. So I have a two-part fun question for you. So the first part, Xavier Athletics has been blowing up, and you're moving to the Southern States Athletic Conference. So one thing I wanted to find out is what do people expect to see when it comes to sports? Now the other part is I saw a video of you doing some dance moves with a group of students. And so I need to know, when Xavier starts whipping up on people on the court, on a baseball diamond or wherever, are we going to see some of those dance moves after the wins or after the championships? I need
Don't
to
know
know.
yet. I don't know yet.
But what
but I might be inspired. I might be inspired.
But what about your excitement about athletics going forward? Because a lot of folks have their eyes on Xavier sports right now. So what are you excited about?
Well, I think first of all, in moving to another conference, part of it is also to solve an important problem for our students: travel.
Yeah.
To get them to be able to travel, have manageable days, because our students are scholar athletes. They're both athletes and scholars. They have classes. They're ready to graduate to go on and do some impressive things when they finish, and not always in sports. As I say, my homecoming queen or the center of my basketball team who's finishing their Ph.D. and his law degree. That's not unusual at Xavier. Now, so travel is important, but also our sports. We've been competitive in a number of sports. And one of the sports that we'll have teams that we can play in new sports. We have soccer is a growing piece in Xavier. Our baseball team is actually we're moving up. Our baseball team, and I can tell you, I wish Hank Aaron had lived another few more, because our first game was only several weeks after he passed, and he had been nudging us, saying, "When are you going to start the baseball team?"
Yeah.
So he would have been pleased to see that. The other part that's important for us is that our teams, we will be winning competitive, in many sports, in basketball, in track. You're seeing our tennis team is always alive.
Yeah.
And I can't stop talking about our cheer team, our competitive cheer team.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Championship status, in their first few years of their existence, and these students, they basically surprise the world. One of the things that I think also will be important is that you'll also see that our students, we truly educate them so that they graduate, they get their degrees. That notion of being a scholar athlete is important. It is one of the things that you see our honor roll. The increasing number of students who end up on the honor roll dean's list, who are on our teams, and also are doing on the paint as well. So that's you will be seeing Xavier, and that's an example that we're preaching by example. See our students.
Yeah.
Be like them. So in many ways, our students are preaching by example, by just being out there and celebrating a wholeness in mind, body, and spirit.
Yeah.
That they are really growing. They are brains. They are athletes, and all those things work together. And probably one serves the other, because that work ethic of our athletes. One thing now, the athletes have a work ethic. Our athletes have a work ethic. That work ethic translates in the classrooms. That same perfectionism that says I need to get my serve, or I need to get my jump shot right, shows up in the classroom as well. And that's the piece that we seek to marry at Xavier.
So I listen, just know, especially in the SSAC, I'm definitely going to be rooting for Xavier.
You should.
Except when they play my Loyola Wolfpack. That's the only time.
I'm going to say, with great love for Loyola, we look forward to beating you. Tell Xavier Cole, there's a lot of love there.
Listen, President Verret, when we got our basketball program, or we got our athletics program back at Loyola, one of the first games we had was a homecoming game against Xavier in the barn. So it was Xavier's homecoming. And we were just hoping we could walk out of there with our heads held high. But we won the game. It was an upset. So I was happy.
and we all know that those crosstown rivalries are the best games. We can play anybody, but those crosstown rivalries, we live for them.
I have actually, I've actually, not only have I done marketing and communications at Dillard, but I was a director of PR at Suno once upon a time. And the best games were the volleyball matches. The volleyball matches, Xavier, Dillard, Suno. I mean, all three going at it.
Teams.
Those were some of the best matches in the city. People who didn't make those games, they missed them. They missed some really, really good matches. So, so it's gonna be great to see the work that Xavier does in the Southern States Athletic Conference, and renewing some of the old rivalries there as well. So that's gonna be fun to watch.
It will.
Um, so I definitely want to be able to take a look at the way forward for a lot of folks as far as interacting with Xavier. Xavier has a small business development program, the Small Business Development Center, and then other programs. You mentioned those great programs that high school students get to do as pre-college programs. And so for you, what would you like to see the community do to interact more or to engage more with Xavier?
Well, I think also a lot of the thought leadership on many of the issues of the day, whether in health, in economic development, whether it is about how we build a city, a resilient city, given the climate, and how we actually uh, manage energy going forward, how we deal with disasters. We have thought leadership in many groups that the community can engage in. We also, as a Catholic university, we see Catholic small c universal as well, that how we actually engage in conversations across the many religious experiences,
Hmm.
both other Christians but also other non-Christians as well. That conversation that we share, that we engage uh, with brothers of many faiths. That's a piece that Xavier can be engaged in. What we do, for example, for our youth, what we're doing in the Magnificent Male initiatives for young men, and I'll give plaudits to our VP of Student Affairs, Curtis Wright, for building that. That's a piece that community can engage in. We are very much engaged. What we do with K through 12, the SOAR and SAR, uh, our weekend academies, also our summer academies, that we wish the community to be involved in, because what we do is about preparing the future. And I think all our goal is really the young people who are in the second, third, fourth, and fifth grade, and we want to make sure that gold shines.
Mm,
So,
mm.
however we met, and also what we're doing even with our neighbors in Gertown as well, is important engagement as well.
Yeah, yeah, and of course, it is good to see the campus, the facilities expanding, the walkway that goes across Palmetto or Drexel Drive, as I should say. All of that kind of development, that stuff is really, really beautiful to see. So it's definitely good to see what's happening at the Emerald City, and so President.
But I'm not the Wizard of Oz.
Are you sure? Are you positive? Because you're a
I'll look
president.
for the wizard.
You did. I mean, President Verret, did you not get the memo? You're supposed to have all the answers.
Ah, the Great Oz.
well, well, President Verret, thank you so much. It is so good to talk to you and to find out what's going on at America's number one HBCU geek university, Xavier University of Louisiana. Thank you so much for joining me on the way forward.
Thank you very much. Keep and continue sharing the message, please. Thank you.